Hello and welcome back to the Nest and Inside the Iggles live show. Thank you guys very much for joining us for our final show of the regular season. We are going to preview the second Eagles-Giants game, their long-awaited rematch or whatever it is. I don't know. I just want this regular season to end. I'm not having fun. Anyway, I'm going to bring in my co-hosts. We got Brandon Pockris. We've got Jeffrey Knox. Sorry, can't talk. How are you guys doing today?
Go ahead, Brandon. I'm not good. Not good.
Yeah. I'm doing good. You know, it's I'm excited to see where the playoff matchup for the Eagles ends up. You know, it's another matchup against a division opponent that they struggled with early on in the year. Yeah. But you know, it's a chance to end the regular season on a high note before the playoffs start next week.
Let's Jeff, how are you doing? And then I want to talk.
I'm good. Great job making a bad game sound interesting, Brandon. We should talk about what we really want to talk about. Let's talk about the playoffs since this team has a chance and everything. Do we actually have to preview Week 18?
A little bit, because I think there are some interesting things.
Okay, let's do it.
It's not going to be a whole lot, but yeah, we'll talk about like the playoffs and stuff and what's going to come, what we're thinking might come next week.
Okay.
But as far as vibes go, all right. So there was, I don't know, a shift this week with the AJ Brown speaking to the media thing that happened. Was that yesterday or was that Wednesday that happened? I think that might have been on Wednesday. That happened.
It was a Wednesday thing. Yeah.
But he finally talked. It's like the first time talking since was it Seattle?
He skipped 2 weeks of action.
Yeah. So, but okay. And here's the thing. So he said a bunch of good stuff. All right. He said stuff, and it wasn't just the words he said, but it was the way he said it. Said that they got all the confidence in Nick. He trusts Nick. Nick's a super loyal guy. But here's my problem with it. It gave good vibes, and just let me die. Just let me die. Don't give me hope. Don't do this to me. I've seen what I've seen for all of December. I've seen what this team really is. Just let me die. Don't. Why are we doing this? AJ, you're on the offense, man. We know the offense is good. Tell me something that could give me a semblance of a shred of hope for this defense. That's where I'm just like, you gotta just let me go out in the pasture and walk it off until I die. That's where I'm at. Did you guys have any listen to that interview or anything, or what? Did you guys have any thoughts about it?
Jake, the team's going to end up with 12 wins, man.
I don't listen. They are not a 12-win team. They're going to end up with 12 wins in a less than 30-point differential. They are bad.
They are bad. They're bad. It's football, though, man. So this is my thing. I'm here to hype up the fan base and everything because my thing is I realize some of these guys are young and their knowledge of this team goes all the way back to 2004 and Andy Reid. This is Philadelphia. You sign up for be a Philadelphia sports fan. This is what you get. This is what you get with the Phillies. This is what you get with the Eagles. This is what you get with the Sixers. And the part of loving a football team is ultimately the team is going to lose more than it wins. Trying to be as positive as possible. I'm going somewhere. I promise this ends in positivity. Now, see, the thing is, I struggle with wondering if some of these Eagles fans who are starting to sound like Cowboys fans would have made it through the 90s. You'd have never made it through Rich Kotite. You would have never made it through Buddy Ryan. It's like, we lost 3 straight playoff games with Buddy Ryan as the head coach. This is the thing that we signed up for. I remain positive because this is the same thing I've been saying all season. It's not college football. You're not watching Georgia and Vanderbilt. You're not going to beat every team by 35 points. There are NFL stars on the other team, too. I was disheartened by the Arizona Cardinals loss, but I'm back, Jake.
No, and that's the problem. I'm back, too. I'm back, too. I was dead. And then he said that, and it brought me all the way back in. It gave me all the juice. I was like, God damn right. We're going to do this. We're going to go into Tampa Bay or Atlanta, wherever the hell we're going to go. And we're going to just absolutely crush it. But in the back of my head, I got this leech in the back of my head. That's like, you're so dumb. You're so stupid and dumb. You dumb, stupid idiot. Why are you thinking that? But then AJ's saying this. I'm like, he's got me. He's got me right where he wants me. I'm all in, baby.
You're a Philadelphia sports fan. That's how it works, man. This is what I'm trying to explain to you.
See, I know, and I hate it. I hate me.
I don't want to sound insensitive to everybody who's ever been in a situation where they were in a relationship that included domestic abuse. I don't want to say that. What I am saying, this is an abusive relationship that you signed up for. You're a Philadelphia sports fan, and they're going to let you down time and time and time again. And
I'm all aware.
you know that, they're going to say something every once in a while, do something every once in a while to bring you back in because you believe in them again, only to get your heart broken again. Now, every once in a while, this is going to lead to ecstatic situations like reaching the Super Bowl in 2004, finally, after all these years of like heartache and like, losing in the NFC Championship game. Eventually, you're going to win a Super Bowl and get back to another one with the best team you've ever had 5 years later and lose that one. This is what we signed up for, man. But I'm back. A.J. Brown did it. Thank you, A.J. Brown, because A.J. Brown finally silenced some of these irritating Eagles fans. Like, I love some of y'all, but some of y'all are irritating, man. These irritating Eagles fans who just believe they have more of a handle on what's going on with this team than they do. We all knew for some reason that Nick Sirianni didn't call a play trying to draw pass interference. He had to be covering for somebody.
There's not a man dumber in the world if he did, and I don't believe Nick Sirianni is the dumbest man in the world. So yeah, we all knew that.
Nick Sirianni is somebody who doesn't drink decaf. We understand that.
He looked like he slept today.
He actually looked like he slept today. But Nick Sirianni went to war for his team. He went to bat for his team. He threw himself under the bus when he did nothing wrong. AJ has cleared all this up. AJ has brought us back and everything. And I commend AJ Brown for putting out some of the fires. But at the same time, and I'm going to pitch it to you, Brandon, because maybe y'all disagree with me, but it's like AJ kind of had to do this because some of these fires he's putting out, he started anyway.
Well,
you started these fires, you had to put them out, but that's where I am.
I'm at a point right now where it's like, it's great to hear, AJ talk to the media again. It's great to hear him kind of clear the air with the Seattle thing. It's like, no, Jalen and him, improv that and tried to make something happen. But it's like the issues I have and the skepticism I have regarding the Philadelphia Eagles all revolves around the on-field product. And until I see changes with the on-field product, I don't feel good about this weekend, and I don't feel good about heading into the playoffs. So it's like, yeah, right. AJ's comments bring you back in, and it's like that optimism starting to, well up again. But until I see a change on the defensive side of the ball, until I see offensive play calling that, is a bit more creative and is trying to do more things with the personnel that the Eagles have, I'm just, quite frankly, not going to be optimistic. Like, look, you almost lost to the Giants and you lost to a Cardinals team that for the majority of the season was a top 3 draft team. Like, you have to establish your will. You have to show that talent at some point. And quite frankly, I just don't know when that happens.
Yeah. Like AJ, we know that you're the best, man. We know that you're the best at what you do. We know that. But his whole thing when he kept saying that is the coaches aren't on the field. The coaches don't strap up. The coaches aren't doing anything. It's like, yeah, but they kind of do. They kind of do, man.
They do, however, demote coaches from defensive play calling and put another coach in charge of that who's actually worse than the guy that we just demoted.
Brutally. Okay.
Call screen passes to Kenneth Gainwell and use Devontae Smith as a lead blocker and things of that nature and gets Devontae Smith hurt. Coaches do that.
So on the kind of going in on that too. So another incredibly good. I say incredibly good. It was insightful. I'll say insightful press conference that happened this week was with Hassan Reddick. Did you guys watch this one at all?
I saw parts of it, yeah.
Okay, so his thing, a lot of the clips that went out was about him talking about how he dropped into coverage so many times, which is an incredibly stupid thing to do. We had a problem with it last year, and we have a problem with this year, and especially with Matt Patricia doing that with your most talented person on defense is very dumb. But the other part of that press conference, interview at his locker, whatever the hell you want to call it, they were talking about some of the difficulties with the new defensive coordinator with Matt Patricia coming in. And he said some stuff. It's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like he was talking about how it makes it incredibly difficult for players to get the play calls in. Like the difference they had just learned, not just learned, but they had been getting used to Sean McDermott's or not Sean McDermott, Sean Desai's play calls and everything. And then they go to Matt Patricia, and he's slower on the calls. And you can see that on the field. You saw the linebackers scrambling and having full-on conversations with each other. But while the ball is being snapped, you have safeties coming down to redirect them and everything like that. And then he's also saying Matt Patricia is using like different verbiage and everything and it's like, brother, that is why you don't do this. That is why we had a problem with changing your defensive coordinator in effing December. We knew this kind of stuff was going to happen, and it just so happened that it showed its ugliest face in a do or die situation against a team that should have gotten smoked. A team that should have gotten smoked so bad that the Eagles made Rashad Penny an active player on the roster. That's what they thought was going to happen. And then this entire bit of chaos on defense where nothing happens, that shows. And Hassan Reddick was fairly transparent about it, more transparent than I thought he would be. But he's also angry.
That's basically the problem we all, said, right? It's like, all right, doing it early in the season is one thing, because then you allow guys to adjust. Doing it even the middle of the season is one thing. Doing it in December in the stretch run, where it's like, look, we don't know how much of the scheme actually was changing, but you do run the risk of having the different verbiage for the same thing. You do run the risk of players not understanding all the play calls. You do run the risk of miscommunications. And when you're in a position where you're fighting for playoff seeding and you're fighting to win a division, why? Just why?
Right.
It's like, try to adjust as much as you can with Desai. And guess what? At the end of the season, make the change. Insert the new defensive coordinator. Insert the new scheme that you want to have. That way you can hit the ground running that much earlier in 2024. But no, they changed it in December. And you've seen the impact of it.
To be fair, positive spin zone here. At least we don't have to deal with Patricia next year. There was a potential if they were going to have Patricia
you would
be the
think,
Vic Fangio
you would
role.
Think.
No, they can't. He's so bad and dumb. He's so bad and dumb.
I agree. But NFL organizations make bad and dumb decisions sometimes.
Oh, don't. I'm trying to this is my shred of positivity. I'm channeling my inner jaw. I'm trying to have a shred of positivity, and you do that. And that's why I am who I am. I blame others.
The worst part about this is actually Sean Desai is actually technically still the defensive coordinator, and I know that there's more to his job other than just calling plays and everything. Matt Patricia being your defensive senior assistant, but that alone is confusing. So the issue we've caused now is if the Matt Patricia thing wasn't going to work, which it didn't, and we knew it wouldn't. Like, I know the Eagles are smarter than I am, and they know a lot more about this stuff than I do. And sometimes we feel like we're better than these guys at this stuff because we can play Madden real well. And that's not true. But the situation is you kind of put yourself in a box and put yourself in a corner, because now if the Matt Patricia thing doesn't work, you can't go back to Sean Desai.
Oh,
like ever.
Yeah, nope. Sean Desai. This ruined Sean Desai's defensive career. Like, he's not like. I mean, I think he's a young guy. I think he's a younger guy. Like, as far as coaching goes, maybe he will. But this is just such a step back. He got damn near the peak of the mountain and then fell back down to base camp. Man, this is.
When I say you can't go back to Sean Desai ever, I mean like ever. Like next year, you can't go back to him either.
Yeah, no, there's not a chance. No, they've got to say they've got to. They say they've got to get rid of both coordinators, but I know it's not going to happen. But defense has got to change. This has been you can't have the 27th worst defense by DVOA and then keep your coordinator. That's a crazy thing. If somebody walked up to Howie and Jeffrey and said, "Hey, you have the 27th worst defense by DVOA. Are you going to keep your guys?" The answer's got to be no. The answer's got to be no. That's crazy.
So it's like. Thing. I agree. They absolutely need to change it, but I've followed too much NFL football to think the Eagles have a good defensive performance or two, and all of a sudden, once their season ends, you get the notification on your phone that says Philadelphia Eagles have promoted Matt Patricia to defensive coordinator because he isn't actually in the position, and the thought process is you let him have a full year to develop this. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility that they go with that line of thinking, oh, we'll just keep it in-house, let him have the full year to develop the scheme. But whether it's been Desai or Patricia, it just hasn't worked. You have to go with something else, or else, you're running that risk of being like, oh, you saw what he did in the back half of the 2023 season, and you're still sticking with him. Dumb decision. So it's like, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm leaning towards they need to fire Patricia, but you just never know with these things. NFL organizations can be weird.
It's so stupid.
What do
It
you
gave
go
me
to,
heartburn
though?
saying
Like,
that.
so what do you go to? Like,
That's the problem. Like, who's out there for defensive coordinators currently?
even that, like, what do you change? This was a system that was built around just like limit explosive plays and but don't break. And to some extent, we saw some of that when Andy Reid was here. So to go with the bend break theory, and you break more often than you bend
all the time.
This team now, there are guys on this team who have played, Josh Sweat, for instance, 300 more snaps than he's ever played in his entire career. These guys are worn out. And there are questions being asked now, do you rest these guys in the season finale against the Giants just to give them some rest so we can get ready for the postseason run?
Let's get into that. Let's get into this game. Let's get into it. Let's start with the injury reports. I see only 3 people on the Giants injury report. It's their safety, Jason Pinnock, Deontay Banks, their first-round draft pick, their cornerback, Deontay Banks, is doubtful with the shoulder. Questionable is their center, John Michael Schmitz. Who really cares? As far as the Eagles injury report goes, it is people that are out is Devontae Smith. So that means Devontae Smith ends his 2023 season, regular season, with 81 catches, 1,066 yards, 7 touchdowns. Good, right? Great, honestly.
Yeah.
1,000-yard season for the second season in a row. I know Nick Sirianni says that he wished that in 2021, in that last game, he would have kept Devontae Smith in for longer to make sure that he would have gotten like 1,000 yards every single season. Because if you remember that game, they just had, who was that? Was that Gardner Minshew? Was it Minshew?
Yeah. The plan was, I think they were just trying to get him that single season.
Yeah, the single season record.
Single season yardage record for like a rookie. So.
Yep. So currently he is at what is his season or his career total right now? He is at 3,178 yards and 19 touchdowns. That's great. That's great.
Even more impressive, he hadn't missed a game until this one.
Exactly. Yeah, no. And for a guy who they're like, this guy's twigs, he's never going to make it 3 seasons, and he gets injured from blocking, which very dumb for them. But yes, okay. So I said Devontae Smith is out. Slay is out. Slay was saying this week that he thought that he was going to play. I understand them not having him out or not having him. Questionable is DeAndre Swift with an illness. Have you guys heard anything about that illness? I just saw that it was illness.
Just popped up recently. I mean, he just did an interview yesterday. He was talking about he was happy about making a Pro Bowl in his hometown.
Yep. And then people that got full practice that will be back. Zach Cunningham, thank you very much. We need you, which is such a silly thing to say out loud. Jordan Davis, Avonte Maddox, and Hassan Reddick are all full go. The Avonte Maddox thing, he played bad. He played bad.
Yeah. Didn't get a lot of run before he actually was supposed to be ready for that game. Looked like he was playing.
The fact that he played is incredible in and of itself, but he played bad. He has a lot of hair now, too.
Something physically wrong with him, too, because when he came out the field, he was still holding his shoulder and stuff like that. So he probably isn't 100% ready to go, even though that's what we're being told. But I'm impressive outing with him, but a little rusty. Hadn't played since week 2. Early in week 2.
He was on the injury report with an elbow. I remember seeing that, like, he was walking off, and it looked like he was supporting his shoulder, but I guess he was just holding that elbow. Yeah. It's still better than Bradley Roby, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to some of these matchups that we got going on. Let's start with the defense, the Eagles' defense on the against the Giants' offense. Again, there's not a whole lot. I mean, it's going to be Tyrod Taylor for an entire game this week. I said this after the Christmas game. Something that actually might have hurt the Eagles in that game is that they were preparing for the lack of talent in Tommy DeVito for an entire game. Then they made a switch to Tyrod Taylor, and that, I mean, it hurt them in the second half. We all saw it because Tyrod Taylor's an NFL quarterback, and Tommy DeVito's not. is there? I mean, Darius Slayton had that big catch, but that was a blown kind of. I don't want to say fluky because it's happened a lot this year, but that was a blown coverage that did that. It's not like he beat anybody. Like, is there anything on this Giants? It was Saquon, I guess. We didn't pay attention to James Conner at all last week when we were doing our matchup thing, and then turns out he's all pro against this Eagles defense. Are we worried at all about Saquon? I think we have the right to be.
I agree with you. I think we had a right to be. I don't think we have. It'll turn out to be much. Saquon has a tendency to have a big play against us, but not a great standing as far as the overall product what he did in the game. So
yeah, he's just been constantly getting outshone by Boston Scott on the other side of the ball, which is a very funny comparison to make.
Maybe he breaks a 50-yarder and he scores, but I don't think he breaks 100.
Yeah, Eagles haven't been tackling, and Saquon's pretty good at getting out of that. What about you, Brandon?
I mean, it's interesting because, with Jalen Hyde and Slayton, you have that deep ball aspect, and it's like, with Tyrod and his ability to hit that type of pass, I'm interested to see if the Eagles are more prepared for that aspect of things, especially considering they got burned by it in the first matchup. And with the cornerbacks and safeties they have currently, is that something they can deal with? And that'll be a big thing to show if they're ready for a potential matchup with, let's say, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first week of the playoffs, because that's the type of team where they might test the Eagles deep. They might test that secondary down the field. So in that sense, it might be a little bit of a peek into what that first round matchup could look like, right? On the other hand, a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson, who I think had a pretty good game against Philadelphia, how does Avonte Maddox play in his second game back? How does that slot matchup look? Because once again, going forward in the playoff matchup, and that's really what all this is, right? Who cares about the necessary outcome, win-loss result of this game? The thing I'm really looking to is, how do the specific areas of this team look? Is there improvement? Does it look like there's more cohesion? Are they playing at a high level? Because, look, if Maddox is playing similar to what he did last week, whether it's Chris Godwin in Tampa or Atlanta, who has a decent wide receiver core, but I don't trust Arthur Smith, so that would be a much better matchup. Or, I mean, I think it's just Tampa and Atlanta, or New Orleans.
It could be New Orleans, yeah.
Could be New Orleans.
Carolina.
Tampa is really the one I'm going to lean towards, because I think Tampa is the most likely.
Tampa's got Carolina, they're in.
Yeah.
Baker might not be playing.
Like a Chris Godwin, right? A Chris Godwin that can line up both outside and inside. If Maddox can't stop a Wan'Dale Robinson, a Chris Godwin's going to be a tough task for him, or a Trey Palmer is going to be a tough task for him, who has deep speed and has looked really good down the stretch. So I'm keying in heavily on the Eagles secondary. I am looking very, very deeply at what they're able to do against the Giants, because that, I feel like, can directly correlate to how they match up with the probable matchup in Tampa Bay.
I like that. Okay, because I think that's actually a good way to get into the defensive needs, wants, and hopes. Give me a second while I pull this thing up. Defensive needs. Brandon, do you want to go first, or Jeff, do you want to go first?
It's pretty easy for me. Defense needs a stop here or there, because we treat defense like a luxury. We need this offense to score. That's the best defense we have. And we need the defense to come up with about 2 stops, because we haven't built one to do anything else. We built this defense to play from ahead and get a stop here or there if the game is close. And once for me,
we're gonna do needs first. We're gonna do needs first. We're gonna do needs first, and then we'll get into wants.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Broken record Brandon back at it again. I want the Eagles defensive line to dominate. I feel like I've said this for the past 2 weeks or something, Jake. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're 100%. Since we've been doing this, that's.
And look, it's not me copping out and trying to say the same thing. That is truly what they need. And the reason that they're struggling in a lot of these games is because that's simply not happening
At all.
The strength of this team, or one of the strengths of this team, as we said all offseason, as we said in the beginning of this season, has just simply not shown up.
No kidding.
So if you get a really dominant game from Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, guess what? You're probably winning this game. It's simple as that.
Yep, that's where it's going to live and die. For me, again, I like to try to make my needs, wants, and hopes kind of flow with what the team has given me. My first need is that I needed some sacks. That did not happen. I needed some turnovers. That did not happen. And I needed something else. I can't remember. But this time, I'm going to make it real easy. I'm going to make it real easy so I can get what I need, baby. I need a semblance of communication. A semblance. Just I don't have your conversations end before the ball is snapped. I need a semblance of effective communication between the linebackers. That's all I want, or that's all I need. That's all I need. That's what I need. And I'm going to be like, hey, we've grown. We've grown this game from last week. That's all I need. That's all I need to see. Okay. Defensive wants, Jeff.
Good points by both of y'all, by the way. So, Brandon, I'll take what you said and add it to what I said. Yeah, this defense was built to play from a lead, and this defense was built to tune its ears back and prevent explosive plays. This defense was also built to dominate up front, which we haven't been seeing. So, good points by you. Again, Josh Sweat's played 300 more snaps than he's ever played. Jalen Carter hasn't played this much football his entire life. Jordan Davis just was built to play his first and second down, and Hassan Reddick apparently now is a coverage linebacker. So I don't know what you're going to get. But as far as wants go, honestly, I want Darius Slay back, and I still want Keely Ringo to be on the field. It's not going to happen, but that's what I want. I want Darius Slay back in that CB1 role. I want Keely Ringo on the other side, and I want James Bradbury to sit.
Slay's already out. You've already lost her. You've already lost your one.
Late Christmas gift.
Slay's already been ruled out, I'm afraid.
He's out. But when we start getting into the playoffs and we start talking about playoffs, I want Slay back on the field. And I want Keely Ringo to remain on the field. I don't want to see James Bradbury anymore. It's not going to happen, but I know. What do I know when nobody listens to me? But, hey.
What about you, Brandon?
I want another defensive touchdown.
Okay.
You know, we had it, you know, in I think last week from Sidney Brown.
It was beautiful, but yeah. Oh God, what gorgeous. That's
fluky, but I think they have the talent to do so. I want to see Ringo make a play and build that confidence up. I want to see Sidney Brown make another cool play. You know, get their feet under them even more, and maybe that changes some of the calculus for this defense heading into the postseason.
Okay, yeah, my want kind of falls in line with both what you guys said. I want rookies all game. I want rookies all game. I want well, maybe not Ben Van Sumeren because he stinks, baby. But Sidney Brown, like just develop your guys. I want Eli Ricks. I want Josh Jobe. I want Keely Ringo. I want Mora Ujomo. I want Nolan Smith. I want all these guys I just have them develop. And I know it's not going to happen the entire game, but I want it to happen the entire game. Like, give your defense a break. Because this is what I thought about this while I was driving. What is the difference between the Eagles' first-string defense and their second-string defense? How much worse could it be? How much worse could it be? It literally can't be worse than, like, the Eagles, if they put their second-string defense in last week, the offense could have gotten the ball back quicker. It literally can't be worse.
Two things. Now, one, Ben Van Sumeren is actually good on special teams. I think he identified the onside kick and told Eli Ricks about it. And Eli Ricks already saw it. So special teams, he works. But, I mean, you're right, though. I mean,
what's the difference?
Based on results, nothing. If we're going to give up a touchdown every single play, like, we just might as well just get the young guys in there and see if they can actually play this game, right, or get some meaningful snaps and stuff. I mean, what's the difference between 28 to the first team and 31 to the second?
Right. Yeah, if the Eagles are going to win a game, it's going to end up being a 38-31 kind of game. Like, just what's the point? What's the point of stressing out your older guys? Like, I don't get that. There's not a big difference. Okay, defensive.
Corey Russ, by the way, he's been bringing the heat tonight. They should have done that 4 games ago, and I agree. But we're sitting there looking at the comments and stuff. Check out the comments of what Corey Russ is saying. He's bringing the heat.
He's a paragraph man himself. Corey is. He got some words. They don't even It ends up going to ellipses because they don't.
I
fit
can't
on the
get
thing.
all this stuff on here because it's long, but he's bringing the heat.
Okay. Defensive hopes. Jeff, what are you hoping to see from the defense this week?
I thought so. We just did. I hope to see Caleb come on. Is that different? Is that different than once? I mean,
Yeah, once. So, like, what something that you think essentially something that's necessary for you, something that you want to see, like, and then hopes. Like, I believe I've said like my hopes was like a positive turnover differential or something like that. One week.
Yeah, cool stuff. I think you kind of stole my thunder with one of them. I want to see better communication and stuff. Like, if we can't get that down, it's really no point in lining guys up out there. Like, it's just that's just. I don't understand how that happens in the NFL. Like, you guys, what are you guys doing all week? Like in practice and these walkthroughs and stuff. You're not hitting anybody, so at least you should have communication down. But hopes, sacks, turnovers, those explosive plays on defense and stuff that we're just not seeing. It's just hopefully we get off of the field on third down, and that's a surprise when that happens. But only some explosions. You create some short fields. Get the ball back from an offense and everything. Maybe that sparks some belief. Maybe if somebody gets to the quarterback and actually gets them on the turf, we believe we can do this again. And maybe we ride that as any bit of momentum I can see from this defense that we can carry into the postseason. That's what I hope I see.
What about you, Brandon?
Well, it's something I hope for, but probably isn't going to happen. It just simply isn't going to happen the rest of the season. Just hold the Giants to 14 points or under. Just like under 14 points or right at 14 points. Like, I don't want to see the Giants drop like 25 on the Eagles. How are you supposed to feel good about that going into the playoffs if all of a sudden you're looking at the scoreboard, it's like, damn, the Eagles won 31-28 against the Giants, and the Giants almost beat them for the second time in a row. Now we're supposed to feel good about this Eagles team that has progressively gotten worse and worse each week. No. Flip the damn script. Come on.
Yeah, that's
who gave up that Slayton touchdown? Was that Reed Blankenship?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what he said. Is like, man, that's
I hope we don't
like, man, he's really good, but then that's
here.
what makes it show like, oh yeah, he was a UDFA. That's our white safety. That's what that was. Okay, my defensive hope. You kind of got me. A stop on 3rd and long. A stop on 3rd and long. That would be cool. Wouldn't that be cool? If like they got a stop on 3rd, that would be pretty cool. That would.
Cool. I have no confidence in this team. I don't have this confidence. I don't have any confidence on this team on 3rd down from any distance.
I know. It got to a point where you look at it, it's like 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. I looked to my wife. I'm like, they could get a stop here. They could get a stop here. They could get a stop here. But if it's 3rd and 7, I'm like, why do we have people out on the field? Just put 10 people on the field and give a guy a break for a play. Like, it's, yeah. I just want a third and long stop. That's all I'm hoping for. That's all I'm hoping for. Okay. Do you guys have anything else on this Eagles defense and what could potentially be? I have the R lads depth chart up here. If you're wondering who is the backups, it's pretty much the only people that we haven't really seen. It would be Marlon Tuipulotu and Patrick Johnson could get some more run. But pretty much everybody that we have seen, and maybe that's why I'm questioning how this Eagles defense would do if it was a second string, is because they have no depth anywhere, and they've been playing their second string a long time. Maybe that's why I have that confusion. Anything else on the defense from you guys?
No.
All right, let's go to offense. Offensive matchups with the Giants defense. The only person that's scary on the Giants defense is Dexter Lawrence. Is that correct?
Thibodeau.
Kayvon Thibodeau. I saw somebody.
He's a sack guy, right?
Kayvon Thibodeau with the sacks.
He's a double-digit sack guy, right?
Yeah, but I saw somebody on Twitter made a video of all of Kayvon Thibodeau's sacks, and only 1.5 sacks he's gotten off of a starter.
That's interesting.
Yeah, every other one he's like fallen into them, like the Jalen Carter getting a sack on Kyler Murray because he was the last one to touch him with his pinky, and Kyler Murray stumbled and fell. Those are kind of Kayvon Thibodeau sacks, and then beating like backups and stuff.
Interesting. I haven't watched a lot of Giants stuff. It's just like, but the Giants are boring. I just can't watch
They're
them.
incredibly boring. Yeah, there's no reason to do anything with them. But as far as the Eagles offense go, so what we're kind of hoping for, at least what I'm kind of hoping for this game, is that the scoreboard watch. I'm sure that they're not going to put the Cowboys score on anywhere in MetLife, but backups. Right? Are you guys wanting them to rest starters as much as possible this game, or are you guys wanting them to get like the starters to have some juice? Where are you guys at with that?
I don't think the starters deserve the rest. Like they haven't done anything to earn it. Like, and it feels like they need as many snaps as the rookies do. It's like every time watch this team play, it's like it's the first time they've ever played together. I see no reason for the starters to rest. I see no reason why they're tired if all we do is walk through a practice. That's just me. I understand there are more snaps in the game, so on and so forth, but no, unless there's a situation, because we actually can still win this division. Like Washington beat Dallas in the season finale last year. Now that was in Washington, but we've seen weird things happen before. Like the 44-6 game, what gets left out is like 5 things had to happen before that game for the Eagles to qualify for the playoffs with a winning scenario. But this team can still win this division if Dallas falters some kind of way. But if there's some way for somebody to keep up with this, let them play until we realize there's no reason to play. Now, Dallas is up 31-14 in the third quarter. Like, then we bring them out. But I guess I'm kind of torn on that, too, because then every time I say that, I think about, this is MetLife Stadium.
That's what I was going to say. MetLife Stadium, and they have a winter weather advisory.
That is the critical factor, I think, in all of this.
Yeah, I agree with you completely there, Jeff. They have not earned the right to get a break, but man.
I will walk it back. I didn't know anything about the winter advisory, but yeah, it's too much to risk.
Yep.
This team has to be at full strength in the playoff if we have any shot. So
that's literally that's the only hope, is being healthy in the playoffs.
You're dealing with the balance of like, do you want to try to get the starters more reps and more cohesion, even though it hasn't happened yet? Or do you want to rest everyone, make sure you're good to go for whoever you're playing in the first round? You're already down Devonta Smith. Some of your other guys have been banged up for the majority of the year. I think if you really look at it, especially considering how notorious, and I think that's the perfect word, how notorious the MetLife turf has been this year for both home teams and visiting teams. I don't know one game this year, or maybe there's been a handful where there hasn't been a season-ending injury that's happened.
There's been 3 Achilles. 3
ACLs, Achilles.
Does that include Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers is the first one, Jalen Phillips, and then there was another one too.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
That stadium is like a graveyard. Yeah, it's a graveyard. So I don't think it's worth it. I mean, obviously you play to win the game and all that, but it's like the Eagles have to make sure, as Jeff said, that they are as healthy as possible heading into the playoffs. If they are down any more than Devonta, or they lose an offensive lineman, they're going to be in trouble. And that's already including the fact that they haven't been able to move the ball when they're at full strength. So I don't think it's a discussion, especially if it's going to be raining or snowing. You have to be smart. You have to be smart.
Yeah, I see Corey Russ. Make sure you wear the right spikes, brother. That ain't the problem with MetLife Field, man. It is not the spikes. It is the popping of an Achilles actually that has more to do with your foot sticking in the ground. It is just a bad field. As far as wide receivers go, backup wide receivers, because I'm with you guys. I think that we're going to be able to see the offense have like 1 or 2 drives, maybe in the first quarter. Again, depending entirely on if Dallas goes up like 21-0 in the first quarter. So I think we will see time. But as far as like backup wide receivers go, you think OZ, Julio, Britton Covey actually caught a pass this year? I don't want to see Quez, but I'm afraid we're going to see Quez.
I like Julio Jones now. Like,
oh my God!
I like Julio Jones now. I like Julio Jones. I looked at those touchdowns. He routed some guys, man. Those were routes. This wasn't just some
Oh,
old guy plodding around and stuff like that. These were crisp,
you know what?
type routes.
I'm glad that you said that because I had to coax it out of Josh saying that Britton Covey was good. You just volunteered it. Hats off to you.
Julio can route some guys, man. He's a savvy veteran now. Maybe not as fleet as foot as he used to be and everything, but he actually can get open. Now the question is, can we hit him when he get open and everything? Because we know that Jalen can put the ball in some weird spots sometimes, and Jalen can miss some guys who are wide open. Like even that Dallas Goedert touchdown pass, Dallas was open like at least 4 or 5 seconds before he got the ball thrown to him, and he has to toe tap on the sideline to actually bring the ball in. But and Jalen doesn't make the Pro Bowl, by the way. Just thought that was interesting. Just want to throw that out there.
Matt Stafford.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with Britton Covey. Britton Covey plays so hard. I'm interested to see what he could do on offense. And I'm not disappointed about Olajuwon's kids at all. He plays hard when the ball isn't in his hands. And every time I've seen the ball thrown to him, even if it's a difficult to catch, he comes down with it. Everything goes in his direction, ends up in his hands. So I'm good.
I think for the Eagles, the best number, and this is obviously when they're at full strength. Outside the 20s, I think you use OZ as the 3. And on third downs and in the red zone, you use Julio as the 3 to just have that size and separation.
On Jeff, on your for like to give some credence to what you said, OZ's 16 targets, 16 catches. Yeah, he comes down.
Yeah, dropping the thing. I knew he didn't drop it. The thing is just amazing. It's like that catch in Tampa Bay. I was like, wow, that was.
Oh impressive. Yeah, when Jalen threw him open. Oh, beautiful.
That was impressive. And then that other catch, like what was that? Buffalo. That was awesome. Like I have no complaints with this dude. Like this is one of those guys that I would like to see come back next year. Now I don't know if they're gonna they give him a 1-year deal and he accepts that. But other than that, I don't think we're giving an extended extension to a slot guy. But
that'll be a good off-season conversation.
I like him a lot.
Let's go into offensive needs. Jeff? What do you need to see from the offense this week?
I guess it's cliche to say play calling needs to be better. So even though it does, less screens. Can we abandon the screens here? Can we
if we're talking back, if we're talking Marcus Mariota, I'm thinking that there's probably going to be a whole crap load of screens.
Gosh.
I mean,
yeah, consistency. Just give me something that doesn't look like this spurt style of scoring that we used to do or we tend to do from time to time. Like put up some points in the first, disappear for 2 quarters, show up again in the fourth.
Yep.
Let me see some consistency and extrapolate this over the case of all 4 quarters and everything. And I think I'm a little bit more confident than I was when we walked into this game. And against the Giants, this is the team of all teams. You should be able to do this. That's familiarity. You got a bad defense you're playing. If you don't build a consistency here, even with backups, I'm gonna have some concerns.
What about you, Brandon?
I think I might have to shift the one I was going to go with for need into either want or hope. But I guess what I'll go for need is I want to see OZ involved more, kind of building off what we said. If you're not going to play AJ as much because you want to rest him, if Devonta is not going to play because he's recovering from injury, let's see what OZ looks like with maybe 7 targets, 6 targets. Hell, let's see what Julio looks like as a quote unquote featured option and see if you can rely on him a bit more. Because look, as bad as the play calling has been, and I think that is priority A, B, C, and D. It opens up your offense if you're confident that you can get the ball to OZ, if you can get it to Julio on top of Goddard, on top of Smith, on top of AJ.
I like that. And I can't believe I don't remember if it was your offensive need or want last week, but it was the we were talking about with the brotherly shove.
Yeah, the switch up. They did it.
A little switch up, a little Rooney with a Kenny Gainwell left-handed pass.
See, Brandon, there's your creativity you asked for.
Man. Yeah, it was one play. Yeah. I think what I asked for was
you said that you didn't want it to come out of the brotherly shove.
Yes, I wanted them to run a different look in short yardage that wasn't brotherly shove. So I mean, it's progress, it's a step, but the thought process there was you give defenses a different look heading into the playoffs where it's like, okay, it isn't just automatic brotherly shove button. It's,
Right.
oh, the Eagles can actually kill you in short yardage in like 15 different ways. And then if they overcommit the brotherly shove, maybe you move out of that formation and hit out deeper. Like it's stuff like that setting it up. I don't think the Eagles offense is smart enough to do that right now, but hey, baby steps. Baby steps.
The only formation that they can get creative out of is the brotherly shove. That's the only one that we've seen any kind of creativity. That's the only formation. For me, my offensive need, no injuries. No injuries. It like on defense, if there's injuries, it sucks. It sucks, but the defense sucks anyway, so it's not a big loss. If there's offensive injuries on like that offensive line going into the postseason, toast. Need no injuries. So pull them starters as soon as possible. Jeff, your offensive wants for this game. What do you want to see from the offense from this game?
Semblance of a better running game. I mean, we got the best offensive line coach in football. And there are times where the running game necessarily hasn't showcased that. And we know what this team is capable of when this team thrives off of running the ball well. This team thrives off of, for whatever reason, A.J. Brown just getting his. Like, this team is almost unstoppable when A.J. Brown goes off. But it's too good. I mean, Miles Sanders was a Pro Bowler last year. DeAndre Swift is a Pro Bowler this year. I, for one, and this is not to disrespect Landon Dickerson in any way, it's actually to compliment Cam Jurgens. I think Cam Jurgens is just as good as Landon Dickerson. We know Kelsey is the first ballot Hall of Famer, and then you got Lane and you got Jordan on, bookending this offensive line. Like, this offensive line is too good. Bully some people. I want to see them play some bully football because those guys love teeing off and hitting people in the running game.
Yep.
And they love that a lot more than they love pass protection.
Oh, yeah. I think it's pretty much every single or offensive lineman.
Yep.
Brandon, what do you want to see from the offense this week?
So I'm going to build off that one. This is the one I was contemplating for need, but I'm going to put it here in want. I want to see some different run plays because it seems like the Eagles are very content with consistently pounding the inside zone and doing the option looks off the inside zone. And, with the offensive line that they have, I want to see them break out maybe a different variation, maybe run a duo, maybe run outside zone, allow your running backs and your offensive linemen to get downhill and create more space in the run game. And maybe that helps set up bigger play action opportunities. Maybe that sets up the ability to hit that deep shot because, like, I'm not trying to be too critical here, but it's going to come off as really critical. It basically looks like the offense I ran in high school in terms of the run game, where it obviously there's a lot more nuance that goes into NFL rushing attacks and the different plays, but there's a reason why defenses are jumping the Jalen Poole opportunities in terms of quarterback runs. There's a reason why late in the game, those rushing opportunities are not as fruitful as they are at the beginning of the game because it's that same type of look over and over again.
Yeah. I think I brought this up on Monday. The second play of the game was a run from under center.
More of that, please. More of that.
Good stuff. What are you seeing that you're not seeing in the run game? Because when Jalen lines up under center, we are running the ball, right? I think we've thrown the ball once when he's lined up under center.
Yeah, there has not been one play action pass from under center,
and no play action is what we're talking.
Yeah, I think there's only been three or four under center snaps this entire season. It's very, very sad.
It just, I think it gets to the point for me where it feels like the Eagles' offense ceiling is so damn high, right?
Oh,
the potential of this offense is so damn high, and they just refuse to even try to reach it.
Meat and potatoes, baby.
It's like they just stick to the same play calls, the same varieties over and over and over again. And I think that's a really big reason for why they've had the struggles they've had. Because you said it, Jake. The defense is prepared too. It's not just a one-way street where, the Eagles prepare and the defensive coordinator for the opposing team just sits there with his hands crossed, right? No, they're preparing. They're figuring out how to take away what you do best away. So if you're giving them the same looks over and over and over again and not changing up much, that's how you get that last drive, honestly, in the Cardinals game, where you have 2 quarterback runs, but the Cardinals are completely prepared for it.
Yeah.
I'm with Quentin Dockery. We'd love to see some slants and quick passes.
Yeah. An answer to the blitz would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That AJ Brown slant's unstoppable. And then we decided we weren't going to do it anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's a cheat code. Eagles don't like using a play that's a cheat code. My offensive want, Boston Scott plus 275 anytime touchdown. We didn't get it. We didn't get it 2 weeks ago. All right. Nick Sirianni loves the memes. Okay. And we said this going into that game. All right. Was the game so important? Or was the game more important to win, or were the memes important for Nick Sirianni? Because he cares about them both. Well, this game, you know what's going to get this offense a lot of juice going into the postseason is if they can get Boston Scott to have that. And it's probably, in all reality, going to be Boston Scott's last regular season game as a Philadelphia Eagle. So that's what I want Boston Scott. And on top of that, Rashad Penny. If we're not, football is more fun with Rashad Penny. In general, football is a more fun game when Rashad Penny has the ball. And if you're not the entire time we've been saying this entire season, we've been like, all right, maybe they're saving him for the postseason. If you're saving him for the postseason, you do not want his first carry to be in an elimination game. You want his first carry. You want him to get hit. So we can feel it and knows what to do. I want to see these backups actually do something. If DeAndre Swift is sick, even feeling a little bit of a cough going into this game, be like, you know what? You're not at your best. You're going to need to be at your best, or else your legs are going to explode out from underneath of you on the hot lava that you're going to be playing on. All right. We're just going to give the ball to Kenny Gainwell, Rashad Penny, and Boston Scott. So I just want Rashad Penny and Boston Scott to have a game. That's what I want. Jeff, your offensive hopes for this game. What are your hopes for this game?
I might need to go before you, Jake, because your needs are like my hopes. So, yeah, Rashad Penny. Yeah, some Rashad Penny in this game. He's just – I don't know what's going on, man. What is he, like 4 yards a carry?
Yeah, with his he's carried the ball. I looked at it today. He's carried the ball 8 times this season. Rashad Penny – five carries for 17 yards, averaging 3.4.
Okay, not quite 4.
I mean, but it's 5 carries. I think Dallas Goedert has that same. No, Dallas Goedert has 1 carry. It's such a small amount. You can't possibly use that as a sample size.
Man, give me like some long sustained drive that end in touchdowns, not field goals, and give me the Eagles the ball with about 5 minutes left in this game, and I want a long clock devouring drive. I don't care what the score is. I don't care how far we're up. I don't care if this is a 1-score game. I want the ball in the Eagles' hands with 5 minutes left in this game, and I want to see this thing end in a victory formation.
Have the game, hoping that the game ends with the Eagles holding on to the ball. I like that. What about you, Brandon? What are you hoping for?
It in touchdowns, not field gols.
That's a good point.
Yeah, everyone stole my thunder because I was gonna make a funny joke about Penny, but I'll just go with it. Rashad Penny, please just get him on the field. Look, if you're not going to use him, cut him and let him latch on with the playoff team.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook looking for a Super Bowl.
Exactly. Yeah, he hops onto the Ravens. This is the weather you want to use the big power back in. The weather that is just not good. Football weather, if we want to call it that, right? If not now, then when? Because all your other running backs are small and are more reliant on finesse. This is your power back. Use him in that regard, please.
At least we thought he was the power back.
We thought he was the power back. That is a great point.
You know what's going to happen? They're gonna get rid of him, and then next year he's going to have a career season.
Yep.
Just like the Eagles got rid of Derek Barnett, and then now he's doing well with the Texans. It's like, okay, that's not an indictment on the Eagles not knowing who Derek Barnett is. We know who Derek Barnett is, but it's just whenever somebody leaves, they go crazy.
It's coaching, man. Get rid of these coaches.
My offensive hope, going back to the well, just like Brandon with his defensive need, I hope that we don't see a brotherly shove. I'm tired of it. I'm tired for this team for playing for 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. Get a first down, stupid. What are you doing? You don't need this. Oh, you're going to outsmart them. You know, that's a dumb thing. You got the players, buddy. Just get a effing first down. If you go for a god, tired of the brotherly shove. I'm tired of it. Ban the play because the Eagles' offensive mindset will be better without it. I'm heated about it. I'm heated about it. With Nick Sirianni being like, oh, Christian McCaffrey didn't know the play. We were actually playing to get to 3rd and 1. It's like, yeah, he probably didn't predict that because he's not a goddamn idiot.
Well, the brotherly shove picks up 4 yards to carry. Why don't we just brotherly shove our way all the way down the field?
You know,
we'll never be stopped again.
Oh, Jonathan Gannon actually stopped it? Get the hell out of here. He stopped it. He stopped the brotherly shove. Jonathan Gannon stopped the brotherly shove.
He did. He did stop it.
And then they ran it again, and he didn't stop it a second time. But I was like, well, you stupid. You dick.
Well, if anybody should know how to be him.
Yeah. Okay, we got a few minutes left. Do you guys have a score prediction for the game?
27-13 Eagles.
Push. What about you, Brandon?
I'm going to go with 24-17 Eagles.
Okay, I'm going 31-28.
Oh, man.
I have no faith in this defense, and there's no reason to have any faith in them. Okay. Who are you guys hoping ends up being the Eagles matchup in the first round of the 2024 playoffs?
Shoot.
We're looking at it's either going to be a 7th seed if the Eagles get to the 2nd seed, and that could potentially be what? Seattle, Green Bay, maybe,
or LA, I think, right?
Or LA, or if they're in the 5th seed, which is the more probable thing that's going to happen. We're talking anybody but the Panthers in the NFC South. What are you guys hoping for?
They could actually get the 3rd seed because in order to get the 2nd seed, now they need Detroit to lose again.
Yeah, but that would be a tie. I think the Eagles have to tie, or maybe tie, or both them and the Cowboys lose, and then the Lions win, or something like that. But that's like such a minuscule chance of that happening.
Tampa Bay is tough, so they'll be tough. If Tampa Bay can somehow lose to Carolina, which is extremely doubtful, you get Atlanta. But if Atlanta loses, you get New Orleans. Give me one of those NFC South teams as the NFC South champion. Hopefully not Tampa Bay, but looks like that's the matchup.
What about you, Brandon?
Well, my hot take is I don't want the Eagles anywhere near the 2 or 3 seed. I think their best shot is being the 5 seed. I know that's crazy because it's like, oh, they win the division. Look, I'm gonna be straight up. If they matched up with the Rams, I would be predicting the Eagles to lose that game.
Done.
Wholeheartedly, right?
Yep.
Like that would be by far the worst possible matchup for this current iteration. Hell, I think even Green Bay would be a terrible matchup, at least on the Eagles' defensive side of things. That would probably turn into a shootout, but the likelihood is NFC South. I'm worried if they play the Buccaneers. I really like what they've been doing at the back half of the year. I know they didn't look too hot last week, but you know, they have the offensive weapons. They have the offensive firepower. Just a matter of kind of similar to the Eagles. Can Tampa Bay's defense get enough stops? I'd probably go with Atlanta because if there's any head coach that is in it for the memes more than Sirianni, I think it's Arthur Smith.
That guy's just an idiot.
And the battle between Smith and Sirianni / Patricia would be just absolutely legendary. But at the end of the day, I think that's their best matchup. I think whether it's the Falcons or Saints, that's your best opportunity in my eyes to win a game because I think you have way more talent than those teams. I don't think those offenses pose much of a threat. I don't think that, you know, if you get a lead, those teams are much of a threat to come back on you. A team like Tampa Bay has that opportunity. So for me, it's probably the Falcons, but I'm good with the Falcons or Saints.
The team for me, I would like it to be the Saints, but I don't want it to be the Saints. The Saints, I think, is a team that the Eagles could easily beat. But if the Saints make it to the playoffs, the Eagles have their 2nd round pick next year, so that's automatically going to make that pick skyrocket. So if the Falcons beating the Saints is the most optimal thing that we could have, I think it's So other than that, it would be between the Bucks and the Falcons. I think the Falcons game is a much easier win than a Bucks game. So I would like to play the Falcons, but the Buccaneers are just not going to lose to Carolina. So that's where I'm at. So I think it's going to be the Buccaneers, but I would love for it to be Atlanta. Okay, I have a show to get to that I got to leave for in a second. Do you guys have anything else to add? Awesome.
Nah, man. Nah.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Corey Russ and Quentin Dockery, thank you guys very much for staying engaged through this entire thing. We read all your comments. We're going to go back and read them again. Thank you guys very much for adding your input on this. The Eagles are playing the New York Giants for a probably meaningless game on Sunday in the afternoon slate of games at MetLife. The graveyard for everybody's legs. So let's hope everybody can get out of that safe. Thank you guys very much for joining us. That is Brandon Pockris. That is Jeffrey Knox. My name's Jake Beckman. We'll catch you on Monday. Go Birds.